Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm your game bastard, Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
ACHTUNG, or Austin, sorry.
Today we're playing ACHTUNG Cthulhu again. This is the second episode of our current ACHTUNG Cthulhu adventure arc. If you are just joining us, check out last week's episode, the previous episode, for the beginning of ACHTUNG Cthulhu. The Hunt Begins in Vienna. It's the name of this arc.
What's the name of this adventure again?
We're playing the ACHTUNG Cthulhu game, Shadows of Atlantis. And we're not going to play this from start to finish. We play ACHTUNG Cthulhu in short episodic arcs. So this episode is essentially the first part of Shadows of Atlantis, the Vienna adventure, if you will. And after that, we're going to play, I think, the One Ring. So for this session of ACHTUNG Cthulhu, Corey, who are you playing?
Sarah Walker and her dog, Oprah.
Yeah. Sarah Walker, of course, is like the rest of the team, members of the United States secret division known as Majestic.
Yeah, but she's Australian.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
as is Oprah. Well, he's technically German. He's a German Shepherd. But,
yeah.
And we did get some XP in the last episode.
You did. You guys did, yeah.
Yeah. Oprah's now psychic.
Yeah, like full on.
Yeah,
legit psychic.
Before, and Sarah didn't know she was partially crazy. She didn't mind anyway. She's a chipper gal. But now he's fucking psychic.
Yeah.
He has a power called latent psychic. I've got to roll stuff to make this happen, but he can communicate with other people. He can like implant thoughts in heads and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Now he can always talk to Sarah without rolling anything. Yeah. They have a special connection.
Yeah.
She's going, why do I feel the need to go purchase some bacon?
But he can connect all of us telepathically.
Yeah.
Now, right?
Yeah, I could. You got to roll for that, but the bad thing about that, if one of us takes mental stress, the other ones get it while we're connected.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
That's an interesting point.
I mean, I think probably all dogs are secretly psychic.
Yes.
And they're just making us want to pet them all the time.
Doing a good job.
Like they can't use the power for anything else. Just feed me, pet me.
They're actually hideous creatures with scales and
tentacles,
leaking sores, but they project this mental image of softness and
puppies.
Yeah.
Their psychic power covers up the eternal screeching from their many wounds. Austin, tell us about
Pierre Walsh.
There you go.
Canadian criminal Indiana Jones of Eldritch Artifacts.
All right, Todd.
I'm Sven Nielsen. I have a shotgun now.
And let's begin. August 31st, 1939. The Nazi invasion of Poland now seems inevitable. As Europe braces for a conflict that might rival the Great War, the question is no longer where, but only when. Will Hitler wait until 1940, or will his Wehrmacht dash into Poland before the fall? Only a few in Berlin know for sure, but what our Majestic agents know is that their business lies in Vienna.
spoiler, he invades Poland.
Tell you one thing, buds. That Neville Chamberlain's softer than a bag of Cinnabons.
So you, the three of you, have traveled to Vienna to meet with a contact named Gisela Voltron, who is an agent of the Abwehr, which is German military intelligence.
I am very excited to try their famous sausages.
You don't know why Voltron reached out to you. You know it has something to do with Dr. Hamlin, who mysteriously tried to mail something to Majestic but was intercepted by Nazi agents. And of course, always conscious that this could be some sort of trap. Now, remember, this is 1939. Relations between Germany and the United States are still quite good, in a relative sense. U.S. intelligence has no reason to believe this would be some sort of elaborate trap, but they don't know why. Now, if you were British or French agents, yeah, it would be more dubious.
How do the Canadians feel about everything?
They are also anti-Nazi. They actually joined the war when the British do, because that's still part of the Commonwealth of Nations of the British Empire.
We took the fucking initiative.
As Canadians do. First on the ground every time. Canada!
Oh, not fighting.
Okay. Wagging a finger at them.
Cheering our buddies on.
So you have, in Vienna, you are waiting for Gisela at Cafe Gugelhopf. It's a tea and cake shop in the old city of Vienna. It's the afternoon on the 31st, and there's a few patrons inside. You are seated, waiting for Gisela. All of you are easily picked up the man in a black trench coat that followed you from the train station. You figure he's probably German intelligence or Gestapo, most likely. The door to the cafe opens. A woman comes in, orders tea and marble cake, and comes to sit at your table. She is medium height, auburn curls. She's just all in black with a black veil over her face. Her eyes are red like she's been crying. and she sits down and introduces herself as Gisela Valtrin in perfect English. Thank you all for meeting me. I realize my letter was unusual.
Yeah, I heard you got some info on Dr. What's his name? Harry Hamlin?
Dr. Jameson Fitzlewis Hamlin, Patreon member.
Yes, thank you, Jamie Hamlin.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah.
She says he is dead.
Well, sorry, Jamie.
She said he was my fiance, and he died a week ago. It was a hiking accident.
Is that why you're crying?
Yes.
You've been crying for a week straight?
Yes.
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
And she says, I'm so sorry to have wasted all your time. I wanted to arrange for you to meet with Dr. Hamlin, but I'm afraid at this point you should just return to the United States.
I don't know that that's the best option. Can you tell us more about what he was working on before he died?
Can you make observation, probably?
Pierre's observation is a 3, and his insight is 11. 7 and a 14.
She looks at you, and you get the distinct impression that everything she is saying right now she does not mean. And she says, yes, I'm sorry. It's just best if you return to the United States, and I'm sorry for making you come all this way. Now, if you'll excuse me. And she gets up and leaves and drops her napkin over a folded piece of paper.
I throw my bolo. No, I don't.
Okay. And she
But I do sick Oprah on her.
I assume you do neither of those.
No.
She leaves, and you guys notice the black-coated man that followed you watches her the entire time and then turns his eyes back to study the three of you.
So Pierre takes the, what I assume is a note, and very subtly, without really so much making it look like he's reading it, just making it look like he's wiping the foam from his beer off his lips.
Okay, and so let's see, that sounds like coordination. And what else are you going to use? What skill?
Let's just use observation again, since I'm trying to read it.
Yeah, I think observation or stealth. Well, are you trying to? You definitely can read it, but observation or stealth could apply, whichever one you prefer.
Observation. That would give me a 13.
This is going to be an opposed roll versus the Gestapo agent.
Okay. Then I'm going to use a momentum and get an extra die.
He got 1 success.
All right. I got 2 successes.
Okay.
A 9 and an 8.
Okay. So, yeah, you need both of those to beat him. And you covertly conceal the reading of the note. It says, handle your tail. Meet me in the Praetor in the shadow of the wheel in an hour.
Oh, this is so exciting.
The Praetor is the park. And the shadow of the wheel, you're not sure what that means. But so you guys are at the table. The door opens again. You see an SS officer come in, sit down at the table with the presumably Gestapo agent, and they start conversing. And these guys are obviously terrible operatives because they are just mean mugging the three of you. Mm-hmm. They're trying to be subtle. Like when you obviously look at them, they'll drop their gaze and look at their tea. Yeah, it's just they're ridiculously bad.
We have a phrase for something like this in Norway. When we see two guys looking at us like that, we call it eye fucking.
Interesting.
Well, I didn't know that was a Norwegian.
And those guys are definitely eye fucking us.
All right. So let's see. Are there any waiters or staff roving around?
Yeah, there are waiters.
All right. I'm going to take another napkin and scrawl some sort of nonsense on it. Write something like, Hamlin was right. We can find them at the airport. I'm going to flag down a waiter and ask him to take this to the proprietor who lives upstairs.
Yeah, so you flag down a waiter. Guten Tag. How can I help?
Hi there, bud. Can you take this to the fella that lives in the apartment above the cafe, please, and thank you?
And I'll have a biscuit.
So he seems very hesitant about this. You can persuade him.
Okay. I'm going to make that insight and persuasion with I have a focus in negotiation. Does that count?
Yeah. It's difficulty 1.
And I'm trying to beat a 14. It's a 9 and a 12, so 2 successes. Take my momentum.
He says, yeah, okay. And he takes your note, and I'll be right back with the biscuit.
Okay. Oprah Lee, do you want anything? She looks down to Oprah Lee, and he looks back up and thinks at her. I would like my gland squeezed.
Austin, do you have a question?
I do. I have many now.
Yeah, please don't ask me to explain squeezing glands.
So the waiter does that. He carries the. He goes back to the kitchen, goes back with a biscuit, and says, "Be right back," and leaves the cafe, obviously holding the note because he has no reason to be clandestine about it. And you see him go around the corner, and the
Just
Gestapo...
waving the note. Time to take the note.
Yeah. The Gestapo agent and the SS officer look at each other, and the SS officer gets up and goes around the corner. The Gestapo agent is still there watching you two. You three, excuse me.
All right, guys, I think it's time to get out of here.
All right.
I assume we would have somehow in our own way suddenly scouted out this cafe so we kind of know the layout.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are accomplished field operatives.
Okay, so then what I'd like to do is take a back exit from the cafe and somewhere like in an alley or something like that. If we can't lose the tail, we've got at least a private spot with which to dispatch him.
Yeah, you can definitely go out the back. Obviously, he will follow. Try to wait until you're out of sight. If you want to try to lose him in Vienna's back alleys, you can.
Great. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
What attribute and skill are you using? Probably insight.
I'm going to say this is insight and stealth.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll try to lose him just in this kind of maze-like corridors of these back alleys here.
So I'm going to roll his dice.
Those famous Vienna alley mazes.
I'm going to give him a free reroll because he is from Vienna and knows the city better than you do.
Okay, well then I'm going to spend the momentum for an extra die. I'm trying to beat a
2 successes. He does not need a reroll.
13.
You need 2 successes.
I've got a 7 and a 12, so 2 successes. So which one of us wins the tie in that?
It appears you win in a tie. So it takes a while, but you guys lose him in the back alleys of Vienna.
It's kind of crazy with Sven skipping and singing the entire time.
It took longer than it should have.
Very happy to be in Vienna.
But it's late afternoon. You emerge from the alleyways on a canal. It's a nice sunny day, warm. It is August after all. No sign of the impending war that you know is about to fall upon Europe.
All right, folks. Well, it's time for us to head to the park.
So on the way there, you get a good look at the beautiful Viennese architecture.
That building's fucking beautiful.
The hustle and bustle of a large city, horses and engines. This is the 30s after all. There would still be some horses.
This is a beautiful city. I really hope that they have snow cones for sale in the park.
You pick up some greasy sausages and warm beers for Sven on the way to the park.
Yes, yes.
And of course, there's the ever-present stamp of stormtroopers marching in regiments through the street. Nazi banners on nearly every corner. But you make it to the Prater, and sure enough, there is a giant Ferris wheel, the Reisenrad.
They're going to say a giant AT-AT.
Stormtroopers.
And in the shadow of the Ferris wheel, you see Gisela sitting on a park bench eating a pretzel.
Oh, hey there.
So I assume you guys approach Gisela.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, excuse me, Miss Gisela. Do you know where they sell the snow cones?
She tosses her pretzel in a trash bin, stands up, dusts her hands, and says, I don't believe they sell snow cones here.
Well, would you like to join us for a ride on the Ferris wheel?
Perhaps we should walk through the park. The Ferris wheel, if we were noticed, there are a lack of easy exits.
All right, then.
I have to say, Vienna, beautiful, but disappointing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know what my fiancé meant to mail you, but I suspect it was his notes, or at least copies of them.
Is he really dead, or were you lying about that?
He is dead.
How did he dead? What?
He fell from a high peak hiking in the Alps.
Ah, it's better than falling from a Ferris wheel. That would be terrible, because one moment you're having the grandest time, then you're fucking dead.
I don't believe he fell.
I don't think anyone does. It's very British.
A week before he died, he met with a man named Professor Kraft Heimberg. He's a high-ranking member of the German government, travels in Nazi circles. I don't know exactly who he is, but I know he's had meetings with Hitler. I don't know why he wanted to meet with my fiancée, but Professor Heimberg doesn't just go around meeting with Austrian professors.
What was your husband's area of study?
Well, he was originally an Egyptologist, but lately he has been going through the records of a defunct archaeological society, the Deutsche Orient Gesellschaft, or DOG, dog, if you will.
Ha!
Had he made any significant discoveries lately?
I'm not sure. I didn't take a great deal of interest in his work.
That might be why he killed himself.
Thank you.
You're supposed, you're supposed to show interest in your loved ones.
Yes, thank you, Australian.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I know he was writing about the black stone that the DOG found in Egypt in 1912. They ended their research when the Great War started, lost significant numbers, and such never reformed.
That's very interesting. When we were in the USA, we had some New York police officers with us, and there were these Nazis there who released a red mist, and it melted the cops.
I don't know what that is, but I know there are a number of secret research divisions that my fellow agents in Abwehr have not been able to successfully infiltrate.
And did you make any private inquiries with your contacts through your work to see if you could find the truth about what happened to your husband?
I did, and all the responses were stop asking questions. But I can tell you that the black stone that my husband was studying, that he had gotten from DOG archives, is missing, and are all his notes. Someone ransacked his office and his apartment shortly after he died.
Well, this is shadier than a fucking maple tree in July.
Is that quite shady?
It's very shady. They have big leaves.
I see. I don't know why he contacted the Americans, but apparently he thought you would have some interest. I can give you two things.
I'm Australian.
Yes, the American Majestic Division. Who he contacted.
It's me boss.
Is there something wrong with the flow of information from your brain to your mouth?
I can speak to my dog.
All right.
Right out me noggin.
If you could just let the adults talk. So she gives...
Hopefully he is an adult and a dog he is.
She gives Pierre two things. A key and a note written in handwriting that was not Gisella's. You presume it's Hamlin's. She said this is the key to his desk at the Sphinx Raiding Club. It's a private club. I haven't been able to get in there, and it's possible the people who tossed his apartment and office couldn't either.
Yeah, you usually have to answer a riddle. Them sphinxes.
Yes, I picked up on the reference. Thank you. The note says, look to the Mexican apothecary's bookshop. There lies the key to unlock the gates of history. And so at the edge of the park, two large trucks roll in, and Austrian police officers start disembarking, walking around, questioning people. You notice a familiar black-coated Gestapo officer ordering them about. She lowers her hat and says, and that is where I must leave you. I must report back to Berlin by the morning. I would encourage you all to conduct your business, such as it is in the affairs of my late fiancé, and leave the city. While I don't believe Germany will be at war with the United States tomorrow, the police will be looking a great deal closer at foreigners after the morning, if you catch my drift.
Especially Canadians, because they're always the first ones on the ground.
Yes, well.
We appreciate your time.
So, historically, the war starts September 1st.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And she walks away.
Bye.
And there are Austrian police filtering out through the park, talking to people, slowly getting closer to where you are.
Open fire!
I wish we had some of that red mist stuff right now so we could melt these police officers.
Yeah, I gotta tell you the truth. I enjoyed watching them cops melt. Not because the cost, just because it was a weird thing.
It's not something you see every day, not even in Norway.
Not even in the pictures.
So is there a way for us to just kind of leave the park without having to pass by some of the...
Yeah, they haven't blocked all the entrances or anything. There's just a lot of cops walking around talking to people. You guys could just attempt to inconspicuously walk out.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys are cool with it, I'd like to subtly just see if we can get out of the park and to a... Do we have like a safe house set up in the city or anything?
You do not yet. Majestic doesn't have any... Majestic is mainly limited to dealing with mythos phenomena in the United States. It hasn't had any reason to engage in foreign adventures.
All right.
So Majestic, at this time in history, doesn't have the resources that Section M in Britain might.
Okay.
Let's go check out that desk then.
I can use my magic to solve the riddles.
But first, you have to get out of the park. So,
Yeah.
Sven is going to use his power of disguise.
okay, tell me about your power of disguise.
He puts on a pair of thick glasses and a fake mustache.
Do you have disguise as a focus or something?
I do.
What skill is that for? Stealth?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Pierre also has that focus.
So you guys could roll insight plus stealth with focuses on disguise to get out. Corey, you could do the same. Obviously, you don't have disguise, but insight plus stealth sounds good to me.
We're already disguised as civilians,
Yeah.
technically. So
Yeah.
we're really just trying to be incognito. So, Corey,
Yeah.
anything that you've got that is, anywhere close to that.
Yeah,
I'm still putting on my glasses and my mustache.
That's
Go for
nice.
it.
Sarah did bring a trench coat, so she puts it on Operly and commands him to walk on his hind legs. Puts a hat on him.
Okay, so the difficulty for that is 5.
No. He's not trying to see an R-rated movie.
Oh, then it's 4. Yeah, so you guys, if you want to roll stealth plus insight.
All right.
That's a 13 for me.
It's a 9 for Sarah.
That's a 12 for Sven.
Operly, it's an 11.
Sarah and Operly will essentially be tied to one another, so...
Okay, can I roll for either one of them? Because Operly is better at insight than Sarah.
Well, you've got to roll for both, but if one of them fails, it automatically tags the other.
Okay.
I rolled a 12, so 1 success.
I got 2 successes, so...
I rolled a 15 and a 2, but I'm using a focus, so the 2
crit.
is a crit.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So which did you get 2 successes for, Corey?
that was for Sarah.
Okay, so she made it.
Yeah.
What did you roll for Operly?
Operly got a 20.
Nice.
man.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Sven, did you add a momentum?
I did.
Okay, so Sven slips out of the park unnoticed. Pierre as well. Sarah and Operly are almost out. And so he failed and with a complication.
Yeah, with a 20, yeah.
Yeah, you're out of the park and you turn the corner like through the gate and there's a police officer literally right there. And then you hear, "Oh my God, I love dogs." And it's the Gestapo agent walking in behind you.
Oh, boy.
"Hi, doggy." And the police officer says, "Hold, please stay right there." He says it in German, of course. Does Sarah speak German?
She only speaks English.
Yeah, so the police officer says something in German that she doesn't understand, but he's holding up his hand in the universal stop.
Operly speaks German. He's a German Shepherd.
Of course, he definitely does now. Write it down. And the Gestapo officer is coming up behind. Clearly, he knows who this is. What do Sarah and Operly do?
So where are we at exactly?
You're at the edge of the park. You just came out of one of the exits onto a street.
Okay, so there are people around.
There are people around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fighting these guys is probably a bad idea, even with Operly.
You mean the platoon of German police officers?
Yeah. I'm going to try to play it off cool and just be like, wonderful day there, gents.
Yeah. Welcome to Vienna. Is this your first time here?
First time indeed. I'm here on my honeymoon.
Yeah, your dog is so beautiful.
Yeah, you should have seen him at the wedding. Beautiful dress.
Sorry, what?
I'm Australian.
Yeah,
It's legal to marry a dog down there.
I don't think that's true. Is it? Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm a bit of a jokester back home. They call me Joke Woman.
Yeah. So what is you doing here in Vienna? It's a dangerous time for people from the British Empire to be here. So Sven and Pierre both notice that they detained Operly and Sarah. You guys are away, but you can always return if you wish.
Are we nearby where we can see what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, presumably you guys were trying to keep tabs on each other as you left the park. But Corey, what does Sarah say to the Gestapo agent?
So Sarah looks to them and says, my dog Operly here is a German Shepherd. We're going to travel to Germany so he can see his homeland.
You are a very strange person, but that is commendable.
They call me Strange Woman at home.
Yeah. So do you want to try to convince this guy that you're just a lunatic?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So it's going to be opposed to his insight and observation. 1 success.
Okay, so what do I need to be rolling for?
So roll insight and persuasion.
I don't have persuasion, so I'm just rolling insight.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's an 8.
Fun times.
Stupid.
You need 1 success.
I got 1 success.
So he just raises an eyebrow. Enjoy Germany. And there's some shouts from the other side of the park, and police officers are waving at him, and he trots away.
Okay, thank you. Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. She's like bumping herself on the head
Yeah.
to continue the ruse.
So you handled the complication. The police officer says, do you have a permit for that animal? If not, I will have to take him down to the police station until you can apply proper papers.
You can take my dog out of my cold Australian dead hands.
Why are your hands cold? Wait, is that a threat?
I'm from Australia. It's warmer down there.
Yeah, so these are police in the 1930s in Austria. They don't carry guns. But he starts pulling out his nightstick, his club. Are you going to give me trouble? I have to take this dog if you don't have the permits.
Okay, at this point, Operly is going to try to mind meld with the cop.
Nice.
So Operly's telepathy, he's got different things he can do, but thought sending is relevant here. It's a difficulty 1. The psychic can send their thoughts to anyone within medium range. This takes
Right.
place instantly. The recipient may respond in kind. It's will and observation for Operly to make
Okay.
this, and it's a difficulty 1.
Okay, so roll 2d20.
Okay, will is 9. Observation is a 3. He's got to focus in smell and taste, but I don't think that applies.
Nah, can't smell thoughts.
2 fucking 17s.
Jesus.
Opally has been shitting the bed.
Nice.
I got to get him to Dr. Cunningham.
Now, you still have a cost on that, so roll 1 challenge die.
Is that the D6?
It is, sir.
5.
So it's 1 stress and 1 effect, which is piercing. So what is his courage?
Here's something I didn't notice in the other times we played this. He has a special rule called Good Boy. While the dog's owner remains in the scene, the dog gains +2 courage.
Nice.
This dog fucking rules, man.
So it would, because it has piercing, it would ignore one of those, but since he has 2 more, it eats it. So he does not take any stress right now.
Okay.
Sven has been watching the exchange, and he looks at Pierre and says, I think she needs some help. So he draws his bow and arrow.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Oh, for God's sake.
He's gonna try to take the policeman out with an arrow.
I think we are in the street, though.
Could I try to
You
maybe
are?
try to maybe use my dart gun first?
No.
Look, let me try the bow and arrow. You just sit there and suck on some fucking syrup, you Canadian bastard.
God.
So I'm going to say in my mind's eye, there was a hedge between where Sarah and the police officer are and all the rest of the cops in the park. Uh-huh. So I think the real question here is not if Sven can kill a police officer with a bow and arrow, but if he can do it in such a way that the other cops don't immediately notice. The focus here, I think, is more on stealthily dispatching this guy than hitting him.
All right. Well,
Sure.
then, quickly seeing what Sven is doing, Pierre decides to turn around and walk 20 yards down the street.
Good call.
And get into a very loud verbal shouting match with some nobody that he accidentally bumps into on the sidewalk.
Okay, so you're assisting?
Yeah.
Okay, so what skill are you using?
So just walking along, I just accidentally bump into this dude, and I guess this is going to be some sort of persuasion with insight.
Yeah.
Cause some sort of an argument that is not going to last, but will take up everyone's attention for the next 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, so the way assisting in ACHTUNG Cthulhu works, we haven't done it this arc, is that Austin will roll that, and if he hits it, the successes will count towards Todd's roll if Todd is successful. So Austin, go ahead and roll your...
Okay, insight and persuasion.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it's just difficulty 1 for that.
Okay, so 14.
Actually, I'm going to say it's difficulty 0. You're just starting a loud argument. So it's
Yeah.
really more if you get any successes to give to Todd. So
Okay.
it's difficulty 0.
That's an 11 and a 17, so 1 success.
Okay, so Todd...
Everybody hears Pierre across the street, just like, why don't you watch where you're going, you hoser? You got a head like Easter Island.
Yeah, Corey, Sarah and Oberly both noticed the cop kind of turns to look at the strange Canadian man yelling at a homeless person.
Oh no, a random argument. You better go.
Todd, what are you what are you using here to shoot this guy? I think coordination, obviously, but I could hear an argument for stealth instead of fighting in this case.
Yes, I would think coordination and stealth would be.
Okay,
He's going to aim.
sure.
My bow and arrow has a salvo of vicious.
How do you shoot the entire salvo? You're going to shoot an entire salvo of arrows at this man?
That's his whole fucking...
I would say no. I mean,
No.
you're going to kill this guy. That's
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
That's not the question.
Okay,
It's
cool.
whether or not they notice immediately some dude
Yeah.
getting shot with an arrow.
Yeah, you're going for stealth, so.
Yeah.
All right, so stealth
17
plus coordination.
arrows flying out of an alleyway.
Looks like the cover of Men in Tights.
Forced, just German police officer doing his job. Just
Sven stands up and says, "On my signal, unleash hell."
14 other Swedes behind him. Somehow they have bows and arrows.
All right.
Oh, sorry, Norwegians, not Swedes. Totally different.
Sven aims. He's using his coordination and stealth.
Now,
so
what's he trying to hit here?
Yeah, what's your
The
target?
cop,
number?
right?
The cop.
I mean, this is pretty hard, right? So
Yeah.
this is difficulty 3 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you
I mean,
better-
it's broad daylight. It is in the afternoon, but it's not dark by any stretch of the imagination. We're in the middle of Vienna. He's shooting.
Okay, so you've already
This is
got...
the best thing that ever happened.
Oh God.
So you've already got 1 success, and taking aim means you can re-roll 1.
Yes.
Use some momentum
Yeah.
to get some more dice.
Okay.
We got 2.
Well, I can only get 1 because I would have to have 2 for
yeah,
the
that's
second.
right,
but
yeah.
I
No,
will.
that's not true, Todd. There are other ways to get dice.
Oh yeah.
Would you like some extra dice, Todd?
Well, I'm going to use 1 momentum to get an extra one.
I feel like your odds are pretty good.
I don't know. 3 successes, Todd? What if you fail and you let your friends die?
He can re-roll 1. You can always use fortune as
Would
I
well.
you
already
like-
have one success.
Would you like to give me 2 threat and take an extra D20?
Yes. So I now have 4 D20.
Would you like another D20?
I'm
Oh
good.
my God.
I'll give it to you right now.
Off, Kyle.
Remember how Kyle thought this was going to be 3 episodes?
Yeah. 10 minutes later. Well, they're all dead. Thanks for joining us on
All
Astro
right,
Quest.
let's review. I already have 1 success because of Austin's assist.
Which you can only count if you succeed.
If I succeed.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, I need 3 successes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you generate at least 1 success, you get to use Austin's.
Okay.
So if you roll nothing, you don't get to count his.
So it's
You
a
need at least 2.
difficulty 3. Is that why I have to have 3 successes? Is that
You need 3 total. You personally need to create 2 of them.
Yes.
If you create at least 1 success, you can use Austin's assist.
okay? All right. So stealth and coordination together are an 11. Not great.
You've got
But
4
I did
dice.
4 die, and I did aim, so I can re-roll.
Okay, you
One
can re-roll 1.
if
Yeah.
need be. There is a 1.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
That's 2 successes. What
2
else do you got?
successes. Also a 4, a 12, and a 20.
Oh,
I would
God.
re-roll that
Oh,
one.
a complication.
Reroll 20.
I'm going to re-roll the 20.
Smart.
It's a 6.
Oh, another success.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
how much momentum do you generate?
Well, I got 3 successes plus Austin's 1 success.
So 4 total?
Yeah.
So you could either add a momentum to the pool, or you could spend it right now to make it take longer for them to find the body.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend it for that.
So Sarah and Operly are standing in front of this police officer. He's saying, "No, I need your paper." And then suddenly there's an arrow sticking out of his neck. And he falls into the street and rolls into a sewer drain. Like those big sewer drains that are set into the sidewalk sometimes. And he's lodged in there. His body's not totally out of sight, but it's not immediately obvious from the park that there's a dead man in the street with an arrow sticking out of his neck.
From behind the hedge, they hear,
I have a question. Did Sarah see any of this, or while she was looking through her pocket for her papers, did this cop just disappear?
She missed it all. Operly saw the entire thing. Though, so
Where'd the cop go, buddy? And Operly looks back and says, "The Norwegian has murdered this man. But we have more pressing matters at the moment. I need to make boom boom." Righto.
So Sarah and Operly extricate themselves from this possible disaster, and the 4 of you reconvene in a deserted alley several blocks from the scene of the murder.
I believe some thanks are in order.
Oh, thank you there, Sven.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so I vote we head for this Sphinx. Is it book club?
Sphinx Reading Club.
Is that where his desk is?
That's where his desk is.
All right, sounds good.
So you head to the Sphinx Reading Club, you ask around, you get directions. It's on the Himmelfortgasse, which is the gates of Heaven Street, close to the Ministry of Finance. It was once a private residence. It looks like it's just I guess the Viennese equivalent of a brownstone. There's short steps leading up to what is an open doorway. Of course, there's no central air conditioning in 1930s. And you can see a foyer inside, and there's a man in there, presumably the receptionist or what have you. What is your plan?
All right. It's going to be 3 riddles, guys. Let's take turns.
You guys, I don't think there's any riddles in this place. We have a key to a desk.
Oh, well, let's go to the desk.
So you go inside. It's a clean, well-appointed place, a lush red carpet, wood paneling, scent of tobacco and tea, overstuffed leather furniture, lamps. Somewhere in the distance, there's music playing from, it sounds like a phonograph. There's a table in the front. Receptionist man look in a very nice tweed suit. Can I help you?
Could you show us to where the desks are?
Are you a member?
Just kidding. Somebody else say something.
Hey, how you doing there? We're representatives of the estate of one of your members, and we needed to take a look at his desk and get his belongings from there for his
Dead what?
for his bereaved fiance.
Yeah, she's not dead.
And the member's name?
It's Jamie Hamlin.
Yes, we are aware of Mr. Hamlin's passing.
Fell off a cliff.
I believe so.
The impact cracked his skull open and he died.
Oh, I see.
Brains leaked out all over the place.
But
Pierre keeps looking at the dog and then back to Sarah like, could you do something about this?
so the man says, you can give me the key and I can bring you the contents of the desk. But I'm sorry, no, there's no admittance to non-members.
Oh, no, legally, we're supposed to be the only ones to get into desks.
You're representatives of the Viennese municipal government?
Yeah,
And you have documentation and identification to that effect?
the dog ate it.
If we did, we wouldn't be obliged to show it to just anybody who asks now, would we, bud?
Yes, of course. Simply, we'll summon the police and they can ascertain the veracity of your claim.
All right, we don't have time for this. If we just give you the key, can you bring us what's in the desk?
Of course. So a man comes out of a side door, tall, dark hair. Is there a problem? Gotthold Fuchs. I was an associate of Dr. Hamlin.
We have a key to his desk.
Oh, you do? Well, that is good. And he looks to that man and says, don't worry, they can come with me.
Why, thank you, Mr. Fuchs.
Yeah. And you are?
My name is Pierre.
Yeah, are you French?
Yes.
And he says something to you in French. Do you speak French?
Yes.
And your associates?
I am Sven.
Hello, Sven.
I'm Maribel.
Hello, Maribel.
This is my dog, Ooperly.
Okay. That is a good name for a dog.
Hey, how do you spell your last name?
Fuchs. Yeah, are you thinking it's funny? It's like fax? Because I did go to kindergarten, you know. I've heard this.
That's a German word, too. You guys invented kindergarten.
Yeah, okay, let's go to the text now. I don't like this woman.
Thank you, Mr. Fuchs.
So he takes you a side corridor to this area with a lot of different desks around. Huge
There
assortment of
literally
books.
is a desk room.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And there's nobody else in there right now. He says, yeah, so how do you know Dr. Hamlin?
We exchanged mail with him.
Yes, we were pen pals.
You've it's a pen pal. I see.
Yes.
I was not aware that he had a pen pal.
It's a secret pen pal club.
Okay. And you are professors of antiquities?
We're anthropologists that find the artifacts that genius professors like you usually study.
I live in a fjord.
I'm Australian.
Oh, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not a professor. I'm just a curious man with some membership in the Sphinx Reading Club. I read about the occult, dark practices in history.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Anything interesting? Pierre's saying this as he's unlocking the desk with the key.
Yeah. He takes you to the desk, shows it. Yeah, here's the desk. Yeah, all sorts of things. Ancient myths, legends, pre-Germanic histories, Atlantis. And as he's talking, there are other people emerging from book stacks and doorways. They don't look like scholars. They look like thugs. And you pull open the desk, and there's a battered notebook held shut with a frayed piece of elastic, stuffed with note sketches and other pieces of paper. And Fuchs says, yeah, I was unable to get into his desk. Picking the lock, I'm not a practiced criminal. Recover it for my employer, but you came along at just the right time and did not have to have these chaps break it open. But for now, we'll be taking the notebook. Thank you very much.
Who's your employer?
The Nachtwolf.
What's that mean?
Yeah, we've heard of them.
Night wolves.
Oh.
And so some of the men have pistols drawn, and Fuchs says, so don't make any sudden moves. We don't want to have to dump your bodies in the river. You can just go back to America and just live on your lives. So notebook, please.
Okay, no problem. Well, back to America, fellas. We'll just tell the boss that no, they wasn't there.
Sven is going to try to buy a little time. Sven is a rank 5 in academia with a focus on occultism.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Okay.
Who would have thunk?
So he's going to use his academia and his insight just to engage Mr. Fuchs in a conversation about the occult. Like I said, just to buy a little time until Sarah and Pierre can come up with a plan of action.
How many of
Okay.
them are there?
There are 5 thugs and Fuchs.
Okay.
Sarah looks to Operly and thinks.
Get ready, boy. There's gonna be some violence again.
And Operly looks back and says,
I quite enjoy the taste of human flesh. And also, cheese slice.
we'll get you one.
Sven looks at Pierre and Sarah winks and then launches into a discussion on the occult, challenging Fuchs. Basically to like a battle of wits.
Okay. So what's your goal here? Is just to distract, delay?
Yes.
Like what outcome do you want this to have?
Buy some time by distracting him so that Sarah, Operly, and Pierre can
Get ready.
Get ready.
Okay.
All right, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to add to that. Pierre, because he has read an occult tome before,
Yes.
one of the items he has on his person is a collection of personal notes about that book. So what I'd like to do while Sven is distracting Professor Fuchs is to switch the notes in the journal for my own notes, which I've, of course, read hundreds of times.
Gotcha.
You and
okay.
that fucking book, man, you're like a vegan with that shit. You're constantly talking about how many times you've read it. Do you know I've read this book?
Yeah, okay. So if Todd is successful, you'll have the opportunity to switch.
Okay.
Cool.
And you won't have to roll. You'll just be able to do it.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Fuchs, I'm a bit of an expert on the occult myself, and
Yeah?
I just, before we make an exchange,
Yeah.
I would like to know how much about the occult you do know. And so he proceeds to start.
What is
name-
this? Some sort of juvenile contest?
Sven comes out with some occult facts and things that would prove to Fuchs that he is actually an expert on this.
So his observation is 2 and his insight is 12. He has instincts for this sort of thing. So he rolled 3 successes.
Whoa.
So that is your difficulty to distract him.
My target with my academia and insight is 15.
Would you like an extra die?
We've got a momentum, too.
Yeah. I mean, why use those, Todd?
I'm going to spend a momentum to get an
you can
extra
have
die.
even more dice, Todd.
I'm good with the 3.
Look.
Do you have focuses?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
The focus is occultism.
focus
Yeah.
is occultism.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fuchs
'Cause I
is
also have that.
So what's
actually
your,
really interested.
What's
so.
your crit range then?
5, right?
Yeah,
This is difficulty 3. So your complication range is 18, 19, 20.
right. I'm going to take a minor action before rolling. Minor action.
Aim your...
No, there is a prepare.
Okay.
Just mentally prepare himself for this battle of wits.
Good job exploiting the rules so far, Todd.
There's a 19 and an 18.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ.
so
And a 6.
you got a 6.
So he can re-roll 1 because he prepared.
Prepared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's an 11. That's a success.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got 2 successes. You still need a third.
You can use
Okay.
a fortune, though, right, to re-roll?
Now, if I
Indeed
use a
you can.
fortune, do I have to re-roll all 3 or just
No,
one?
you
Okay.
re-roll as many or as few as you like.
Okay. It's a 12.
Nice.
3 successes.
Excellent, Todd.
Exactly 3. And so Fuchs and Sven talk about the occult for 20 fucking minutes. At the end, the thugs are bored. Oprah and Sarah are bored. Even Pierre is looking a little out of sorts. Like the thugs are just petting the dog and rubbing his belly, giving him treats.
Yes, but don't you think the works of Aleister Crowley are quite enlightening?
I much prefer the works of the American psychic advocacy.
It's just that for
Yeah.
20 minutes.
His work on the Hall of Records underneath the Sphinx for eye-opening for me. Have you ever heard of the dark god Yog Sothoth?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and so they keep...
All right, well, if you guys want to settle down on this intellectual pissing contest, Fuchs, if you want the fucking notes, I can't take it anymore. Just here, you have them, because I can't stand working with these dicks anymore.
Yeah, I understand. Co-workers can be very painful. And he takes the notes. Thank you.
You had to forgive him. He's Canadian.
Oh, my God. That's very... yeah, it's...
You see what I'm dealing
I
with.
understand. I'm so very sorry. Don't worry, my friend. Soon Norway will be part of the greater fatherland. And there will be a place for you in the new administration. Here's my card.
Thank you, Mr. Fuchs.
And he and his thugs leave. Well done, Todd.
Excellent job, Todd.
So you guys have his notes. You're outside. You're in the Sphinx Reading Club. It is evening by this point.
Okay.
Night has fallen. Gisela did note you wanted to be out of the city by dawn. What is your next move?
I'm going to help us find the Black Stone.
Okay.
I'm going to use my bizarre insight. I'm going to generate a threat.
Yay!
Yeah.
I can do this once per scene, as you know. And Kyle, where's the Black Stone?
So bizarre insight. Read what that does.
No more than once per scene, you may generate 1 threat to obtain information. Ask the GM a question without passing a skill test.
You guys have a few moments in the Sphinx Reading Room where you're going through Hamlin's notes, and it's quickly obvious you don't have time to give these a proper search. One thing that sticks out to Sven is the address or notes about a bookshop called the Mexican Apothecary in the Old City, and an address multiple times. This is referenced in the notes.
Hey guys, I think we should begin our search at the Mexican Apothecary. It's a bookshop in the Old City.
Okay.
That's right. This note says the key to unlocking the gates of history is going to be there.
Eventually, you find yourself on a nameless street in the old town of Vienna, standing outside a bookstore, filthy windows covered with a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. The door is closed, but there's still there's lights on the inside. It still appears to be open for business. You might be suspect of something open this late in a city at this time period. Books are piled everywhere on old, creaking shelves. Mold, tobacco, and unfamiliar herbs pervade the room. Strange paintings and objects dangle at uncomfortable angles. As you go in, the door rings a bell, and after a few moments, the proprietor, you presume, comes shuffling out of the back to the desk. Watery dark eyes, toad-like face, obviously malevolent interest. He's hunched over. You're not sure how old he is. Sallow, bloodless skin. His arms seem to be out of proportion to his frame. He looks at the three of you, this dark gaze, and says in German, "What do you want?" Do any of you speak German?
Sven does not.
No. Operly does.
That's true.
Oh, here we
I guess
go.
I could try to make another psychic test.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
So it's difficulty 1, will and observation, for Operly to send psychic messages to the Toad Man. So target's 12.
Okay.
It's a 2 and a 3.
So you get a momentum.
Yay.
Would you like to ask a question, or do you just want to drop in the pool?
We'll drop it in the pool because we have no momentum right now.
So what does Oberly say?
Greetings, old man.
Why did you bring these people into my shop? And that's all in his head.
These humans are on a mission.
I could smell the spore on you.
I'm also on a mission, but I serve a different master,
Nyarlathotep.
Jehovah. I speak to Jesus Christ in my dreams.
Like,
Sometimes we run.
you can feel this guy scoff in his mind. What do you want, dog?
We want the black stone, old.
I do not have the black stone.
You smell like urine.
I smell like many unclean things.
Where is the black stone?
I don't know.
Where is the black stone?
Hamlin did not entrust it to me before he died.
Do you know who has killed Hamlin?
I suspect it was Gotthold Fuchs.
I know this man.
Yes.
Would he have the black stone?
Oh, he's too incompetent. Hamlin hid it before he died. He knew someone was closing in on him. He trusted me with a note and to give it to, and you see his eyes rove over the people, Americans, if they came calling.
I am German.
Would you like to stay here with me, dog? I could teach you a great deal of things.
Like what?
How to amplify your powers.
I already know how to sit and roll over.
I meant the powers in your mind.
I just picture, like, if this was higher level stuff, him and Oberly just having a brain battle, like
Yeah.
Professor X versus...
Nobody really even knows the dog is psychic at this point.
Sarah does.
Sarah, yeah. That's true.
I assume Sarah tells them, oh, Oberly's having him a little chit-chat with the weirdo fella.
I assume you are from the American agency.
I am from no one except for God and dog.
Do you vouch for these?
I vouch for most of them. The woman is my guardian and friend.
Okay, so you can you can persuade him to give you what you get the sense he has something from Hamlin. It's not the Blackstone.
Right.
You can persuade him to give it to you. I don't know. Actually, I think him talking to a dog, he's just going to give it to you.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Because this guy is essentially impressed with occult power.
Right.
And so he's a telepathic dog, he's probably going to be down.
Yeah.
He's a follower of Yog-Sothoth, so he's with the weird.
Okay.
I will give it to you. If you choose to give it to these weaklings, well, the Norwegian may have some power. You can. And he holds out a tiny piece of paper for you to come get with your dog mouth.
Oberly snatches it.
I've never talked to a dog before.
I've talked to many. I know how cool it is.
Take them and be gone. Shop's closed, he says out loud. Get out.
All right, thank you.
And the three of you leave. You're out in the shadow of the bookstore. You hear the door lock behind you and the lights go out. The note says in capital letters, entropy. Then it says a state of chaos and decay, period. S equals K, period, log, space, capital W. So who has academia?
I do.
I do.
What focuses do you guys have in academia?
Occultism.
Focus in history and occultism.
So everybody can roll their academia, even if you don't have it, to place this.
Okay, what do I roll?
Insight.
I failed both.
I got a 1 and a 5, so 3 successes.
Did anybody roll any complications?
No, I also had, my target was 15. I rolled a 7 and a 12, so I also got 2 successes.
Okay. This is relatively famous. This is one of Ludwig Boltzmann's famous theorems. He was a Austrian physicist.
Yeah.
He passed away, of course.
Oh.
He's buried in Vienna. And this theorem is on his tomb.
Let's get to grave robbing.
Luckily for you guys, it is late at night.
Yeah.
The Zentralfriedhof is Vienna's largest and most famous cemetery. Such persons as Beethoven, Strauss, and Klimt are buried there, along with Ludwig Boltzmann.
Oh, let's dig them up, too.
It takes you guys about an hour to cross Vienna and get to the Zentralfriedhof.
I'm going to use the blessing of air to bring Beethoven back from the dead, guys.
Oh, my God.
He just wakes up screaming, decomposed. He can't remember his music. And that's how Beethoven came to rule an army of the dead that destroyed the world.
Yeah.
World War II, the war against Beethoven. Sorry.
The Allies and the Axis powers unite in a common...
To fight Beethoven and his zombie army.
So many movements.
In the Zentralfriedhof, you find the Ehrengrabe, which is honorary graves where the more elaborate and famous people are buried. You find Boltzmann's monument. It's a rather elaborate monument. It's a bust of Boltzmann. And you see, like on this big plinth, the formula, entropy, a state of chaos and decay and so forth. And there are 2 yew trees buried along either side. The ground around the yew tree on the right has obviously been disturbed recently. And Boltzmann didn't die recently.
Okay. Yeah. So Pierre has a set of burglar's tools, and that includes a crowbar.
Do you have a shovel?
You know what? I bet I do.
You know what we do have?
What's that?
Nature's shovel. A dog.
Okay, so what are you using for Operly to dig? I'm guessing brawn and resilience.
Okay, that'd be an 11. What's my target here?
1.
Okay. Ooh, I got a 1.
Nice. Crit.
Yep.
So Operly goes to town. You guys are waiting while this dirt just flies up out of this increasing hole. It's dark, obviously. The lights of Vienna are in the distance. Pale tombstones, marble monuments everywhere. Very distant traffic noises. And then Operly gets under the yew tree and reaches something. What does he do at that point?
Wait,
You need hands to recover it, I guess is what I'm getting at.
He looks back up to Sarah.
My paws can be of no more help here. I need opposable thumbs.
Be right down there, buddy. Sarah's jumping in the hole.
All right, so we join her.
So what Sarah finds is an oilskin parcel tied with brown string. It's quite large and very heavy.
I think we haul it back up to the surface, first of all.
You know, there's no real obstacle here. It's just the 3 of you lifting a fairly heavy stone covered in oilskin out of the hole. You unwrap it. You don't know what the black stone looks like, but this is a black stone covered in different kinds of writing. The occult experts recognize hieroglyphics, runes that look like German Futhark but aren't, and another indecipherable script. But you have the black stone. You're wrapping it up, thinking about how you're going to get out of here, and you hear some commotion coming over the hill, lights and the sound of engines.
You guys want to split? Try to run?
Do you want to check it out or do you want to run?
Yeah, we'll check it out.
So you guys, I assume you guys are being stealthy.
Oh, yeah.
So
Of course.
Always.
move amidst the tombstones like pale ghosts yourselves. Openly a black shadow. No. You guys creep over the hill, hiding behind this big above ground mausoleum, looking over, and you can see there are work trucks and a team is digging up a grave. There's a black coated SS officer standing nearby and a number of soldiers.
Oh, I hope that's not Beethoven. that man's pure evil.
No, it's outside of the Ehrengraber. It's definitely the SS officer that you saw earlier in the day.
Oh, okay.
Then the Gestapo guy you saw gets out of one of the trucks and comes over there smoking cigarettes.
I hate Nazis.
They bring over some workers and a winch and start hauling a coffin up out of the ground. Everybody can roll observation.
Insight.
Yeah.
All right, that's a 14. 1 success.
It's Dr. Hamlin's grave. So as you watch, they pull the coffin up, put it in the back of a truck, and start heading out. Why they want his body, you're not sure, of course. They depart. You wait until the coast is clear. Make your way out of the Central Friedhof. Catch the first train out of Vienna towards Rome. And that is where we end.
Oh.
That is the end of this adventure. Well done. I thought it might take 3 sessions, but you guys pulled it off in 2.
Nice.
Yeah. So that is the first part of the Atlantis campaign.
Yeah. Didn't even really have to kill that many people.
Yeah.
A lot of cops died, but
What are you gonna do?
I thought that you guys would kill the Gestapo agent tailing you, and I thought you'd have a fight with Fuchs and his thugs. I thought there was a 50-50 chance you'd end up fighting the bookstore owner.
I thought at one point we were going to fight the entire city of Vienna.
That almost happened too, like
when
all the police.
That poor officer with a family got arrowed in the fucking neck.
Yeah, he was about to flee the country too before the war.
Ah, damn it! He probably
3
had
days to retirement.
So well done, guys. Well done.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
great.
And you said that's a longer campaign if we want to jump back into it at some point?
Yeah, Shadows of Atlantis is a pretty long campaign.
Okay.
It's broken up into kind of distinct segments.
Okay.
So I think we will jump back into it, periodically and, complete an arc and play other stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, we haven't even gotten into any Cthulhu monsters yet on that campaign.
It's just been spycraft and weirdness.
Well, zombie guy.
We did have one zombie.
Yeah,
yes.
you did fight a zombie, and there,
That old man was ugly.
yeah, the
I was
book,
starting to say that was an Innsmouth
Yeah.
folk.
yeah, the bookstore owner is a sorcerer of Yog-Sothoth, but that is not known to anyone except for
Operly.
Operly.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an open question as to whether or not Operly even knows what that means.
Probably not.
Right? Like, I mean, he is psychic, but he's also still a dog. He has not been educated.
Yeah, does not have academia.
Yeah, we're going to do XP. Did a PC distinguish themselves with an outstanding or conspicuous act of bravery, gallantry, or heroism?
I'll nominate Sven again
Yeah,
for
Sven.
just.
Arrowing?
Well, talking that guy,
Yeah, providing
Down.
a distraction for us to basically pull off a con was
Yeah.
pretty great.
Well, I think that would be an innovative or novel solution that'll come
okay.
later.
Well, I nominate that too. Yeah, I mean, I guess killing the cop.
Well, my thought is, like, if he had gotten caught, he would have been fighting a lot of police.
Yeah.
I mean, that was ridiculously brave.
Brave?
Stupid.
That's
I
the
mean,
word we're going to use.
Well, yeah, that's what
Okay.
we're going to call it. Yeah, so 10 XP for that time.
Okay.
Nobody was seriously wounded.
No, we didn't fight.
So whether PC found innovative or novel solutions to problems they encountered. Yeah, I think Sven's academia off
Yeah.
counts. I think Operly psychically talking to
Yes.
the bookstore owner.
Okay.
What else happened?
What did you do, Pierre?
I mean, I just switched out the notes while you were.
Oh, that
having
was
that's
good.
good. No,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was great. So that's 5 XP. Any role playing that was particularly adept or enjoyable?
I nominate Operly.
Did you permanently defeat a major adversary, NPC, or recurring nemesis?
No. Well,
That cop.
Well, that cop.
who knows what he could have become? That cop's name was Osama bin Laden.
He was SS Reich Chancellor police officer. So yeah, no XP for that. How challenging the mission was? I thought it was pretty challenging. I mean, you guys did pretty well.
It was a tough one. I mean, we had several like having difficulty 3 rolls.
Yeah. I would say 15 XP.
Cool.
So yeah, that was this is our second foray into ACHTUNG Cthulhu, and I quite enjoy this system.
It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
I think I enjoyed this adventure more than a quick trip to France, though I did like a quick trip to France.
Sure. Yeah, definitely for learning the game. The quick trip was a lot of fun. And Modifius, they've got a lot of cool games, and they're mostly all like the D20 system, right?
As far as I know,
Yeah.
I am going to play Conan at Gen Con.
Oh, sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was another one we
Nice.
talked about playing. They make a Star Trek game. They have a lot of like IPs.
Yeah, they've got the Gilmore Girls.
That's next. Gilmore, Stars Hollow.
They're the Blade Runner company too, right? Is that 2D20?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
somebody
not
is.
super. I know there's a Blade Runner RPG come out. Not sure who has it.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. We want to always thank our sponsor, Barrel and Bond.
Thanks, Barrel and Bond.
We like y'all a lot.
Yeah, I was there the other day. I was just talking to some guy sitting at the bar, and an arrow comes out of nowhere. Right in the goddamn neck.
See a Norwegian in a park and just slink around a corner.
Yeah, I drink his bourbon.
So in the modern day, there would be some elaborate conspiracy theory evolving around the Austrian police officer murdered with a mysterious arrow on the eve of World War II.
Yeah, exactly.
There's whole websites devoted to it.
Hitler was going to call the whole thing off, and then he's like, they killed my cousin, the cop.
Yeah.
It was the
Poles.
It was the Poles.
Thank you, Barrel and Bond. Thank you to our Patreon members.
Yes, thank you goddamn very much.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for continuing to listen.
Patreon member Jamie Hamlin was, of course, Professor Jameson Fitzlewis Hamlin, who may be coming back from the dead.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
At first, I just thought, well, they dug up the wrong grave, but
No, okay, so I want to comment on the campaign written for a little bit. So there's a note in there about, how could the Nazis get back on the track of Atlantis if the PCs get all the stuff? And one thing is, Black Sun could resurrect him. And I thought, I'm obviously putting that in the fucking game.
Yeah.
German necromancers stealing a body to bring a dude they murdered back from the dead because they need to know stuff? Yes. Yeah, that's going to be in there. So yeah, we'll probably play more ACHTUNG Cthulhu at some point. But thanks for listening. I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
Austin.
She's not infected.